for the first time, my employees, I brought them into the meeting room and I showed them, so guys, this is what the company looks like. And one of them literally teared because she's like, so madam, tumekuwa tunaweka hasara tu. Sasa tunafanyaje? And for some reason that woke them up because now they're thinking tupambane. So I'm like, ile notion ya kwamba huyu ni chango. Sijui kama umewahi kusikia hiyo story. Mimi mwenyewe wakati nakuwa niliambiwa sana. So mimi nina stage 4 endometriosis, ambayo ni hali ambayo inawapata baadhi ya wanawake. Kuna kama veins hivi ambazo zinatakiwa kihalali ziwe ndani ya kizazi.
If you could go back, is there something you would do that's slightly different?
I should have just gotten it done. Because there's a good 4+ years. One would say don't call it wasted years, but it still feels like that. So I would have made decisions quicker.
Naitwa Lisa, karibu Founder Safari. Podcast inao highlight wanzilishi mbalimbali, historia yao, mafanikio, furaha na nafasi yetu ya kupiga nao story. Wanzilishi hawa ni members wa Founders Tanzania, forum ya zaidi ya founders 300 hapa nchini. Jiunge nami, jifunze zaidi na asante kwa kunisikiliza. Welcome back to Founder Safari. Hii ni episode yetu ya 7 and I'm very excited. Niko hapa na female founder wangu wa kwanza kama host wa Founder Safari. Her name is Mwanaidi na ni CEO wa founder wa Jollie Pads Tanzania. Tunaenda kusikia kutoka kwake unique circumstances za kuwa female founder katika hii nchi, namna ambavyo space iko friendly kwake, namna ambavyo kuna challenges sisi kama wanawake tunazozipitia na kadhalika. Ninakukaribisha wewe ujiunge nasi kusikiliza story yake. Mwanaidi, karibu sana.
Asante sana Lisa, nashukuru sana kwa kunikaribisha hapa. I'm hoping for an exciting session and looking forward to it.
It will be. I want to do hula hoops and jump and gymnastics, but I'm trying to keep it very kosher, very calm for the people at home, but my heart is overjoyed. My heart is overjoyed kwa sababu I think there is a lack of representation when it comes to these kinds of conversations. And I think what's so unique about kila ambacho unachokifanya ni kwamba unawapa wasichana wadogo, wanawake wa baadaye, nafasi ya kuwa na hedhi salama ili waweze kufocus kwenye proper competing that's going to put us ahead. So let's jump into it and just understand how you support women and how your organization supports women in the world, in Tanzania.
Awesome. Asante sana. So labda nirudi nyuma kidogo kuelezea kama historia jinsi gani Jollie ilikuja ikawa Jollie. So mimi nina stage 4 endometriosis, ambayo ni hali ambayo inawapata baadhi ya wanawake. Kuna kama veins hivi ambazo zinatakiwa kihalali ziwe ndani ya kizazi. Lakini kwa mtu mwenye ugonjwa wa endometriosis, hizi veins zinakuwa zinaota nje ya kizazi na vile vile zinaweza zikatunga sehemu yote ya mwili. Ndio huo ugonjwa unakuwa endometriosis. Hiyo hali inapelekea mtoto wa kike au mwanamke kila anapokuwa kwenye hedhi anapata maumivu makali sana. Anakuwa ni mgonjwa. Kuna wengine wanapata maumivu mpaka wanazimia, moods zinakuwa sio zile za kikawaida ambazo watu wanazijua. So hii hali ilinifanya kwamba nikawa nakosa, wakati niko shule nakosa muda mwingi wa kuingia darasani, na kwa mara nyingi niko sick bay na vitu kama hivyo. So fast forward, nilivyokuwa niko Arusha nafanya kazi kwenye kampuni ya uwindaji, tulikuwa tunafanya a lot of camp visits. Kwa hiyo tunatembea Umasaini, tunatembea sehemu tofauti ambazo kampuni ina camp. Sasa katika matembezi ya kazi nikakutana na binti mmoja Munduli ambaye alikuwa muda wa darasa yuko nje. Amekaa nje ya vile vinyumba vyao vile, amekaa nje. So nikaa katika kumuuliza tu maswali, akaniambia kwamba niko kwenye period. Nikamwambia sasa kama uko kwenye period ina maana unakaa tu nyumbani? Akasema ndio nakaa tu kwa sababu kwanza sina kitu ambacho kinaweza kikanikidhi niweze kumudu hedhi yangu. Moja, pili nina maumivu makali sana na sina namna ya kupata dawa ambayo inaweza ikanisaidia. So kwangu mimi hiyo ikawa changamoto ya kwanza. Kwanza I could relate to her kwamba yale maumivu na mimi nayajua yale maumivu ni ya kiasi gani. Lakini pia ikanipa challenge ya kujiuliza karne hii kuna mtu ambaye anaweza akakosa pedi. Kwa sababu kwenye kichwa changu mimi nilikuwa najua hii ni basic need ambayo mtu ni lazima awe nayo kwa namna moja au nyingine. So hile ikanipa changamoto kichwani kujaribu kutafakari kwamba mtu ambaye tayari anapitia hii hali ya maumivu makali sana, je, kuna haja ya yeye pia kupata changamoto ya kupata taulo ya kujikidhi wakati yuko kwenye hedhi? Kwa hiyo nikaanza kujiuliza, kwani hakuna alternative ambayo ipo zaidi ya hizi za kutumia na kutupa? Kwa sababu nilivyomuuliza, mbona watu wanakuja wengi sana kufanya charity services, wanagawa always, wanagawa HC, wanagawa hizi zote. Akasema, dada, watu wengi wakija wanatoa pakiti 1, 2, 3. Hizo haziwezi kukidhi period ndefu. Kwa mfano kama mimi natumia pakiti 1. Yani ndani per cycle. So ina maana akinipa pakiti 3, ina maana ni cycle 3. Ina maana hiyo muda mwingine ulobakia inakuwa sina. So nikana mwambia okay, kwa sababu mimi nikikumbuka nyuma nilivyoanza period, nilianza nyumbani nikiwa na dada wa kazi. Nakumbuka dada alinikatia kanga. So nikamuuliza, uwezi kukata kanga? Akasema, nimeshakatiwa kanga, t-shirt ya zamani zote zinaniumiza, nakuwa napata infection. So ina maana yeye ana allergic to some chemical reactions ambazo ziko kwenye nguo. So
possibly the dyes.
Yes, amongst other things. So wakati naendelea kufanya research, nikaja kuingia kwenye internet. There's a lot you can get from the internet. It's just that sometimes we don't choose to utilize it in the right way.
Yeah.
So nikatafuta, nikaja kugundua kwamba kuna cloth parts ambazo zinatengenezwa Canada, Marekani, India, ambazo they are safe and specifically made for utilization kwa ajili ya kumanage periods. So nikaanza kuwa email hayo makampuni kwamba natafuta solutions, natoka Tanzania, natafuta solutions kwa ajili ya watoto wa kike. And I was lucky enough, one of the biggest manufacturers in Canada did respond. Either aliona vile kwamba ni kitu genuine, kuna uhitaji, na yeye ana hiyo idea. So this particular company gave me a head start to start Jollie. Because she shared fabric types for the different layers. She shared patterns. She shared, everything.
Oh my.
She just sent me a whole pack. Yeah? So from that, I made makeshift. So I went into the market, nikatafuta kitambaa ambacho hakivuji, hakitoi rangi, cotton ya kawaida. Nikatafuta the different fabrics ambazo alikuwa ameniambia, nikatengeneza 10 pieces kama kisampo cha kujaribu. Kwa hiyo nikampelekea yule binti, akajaribu, it didn't cause any irritation, so akaendelea na maisha. Na mimi nikaendelea na maisha yangu. So that was about 2012, 2013. And then fast forward 2017, it's still somewhere at the back of my mind. I'm still wondering, what can I do? Then I ventured back again to start looking, where can I get this fabric so that I can make for a few more other girls, and then I can distribute as charity for myself. Because at that point in time, I was still employed fully. So 2019, I registered Jollie as a sole proprietor, and I found a source to buy the fabric from South Africa. It was so expensive. So up until that point in time, it's not a business. It's just me using my salary to do charity work. So I registered the company, then I started making a few pieces, then we would go do engagements with the girls in different places, and distribute a few pieces and give education just to see what is the need exactly. Over time, we came to realize kwamba tuna deal na kitu ambacho, sad as it is considered controversial. Yeah? To what extent kwamba mara nyingi maongezi yanayohusiana na hedhi ni maongezi ambayo yanatakiwa kufichwa, ambayo ni conversation tunajaribu kuibadilisha kwa wakati huu. Tunajaribu kuengage wababa, wakaka, watoto wa kiume. Hata shule zozote ambazo tunaenda sasa hivi hatuongei na watoto wa kike tu. Kwa hiyo tukienda, kwa mfano juzi tulishirikiana na Rotary, tukaenda kufanya medical camp. Shule moja iko Bagamoyo. Tulivofika, inaitwa Kerege. Tulivofika tuna engage watoto ambao kuanzia darasa la 5, la 6 na la 7. So kwenye zile conversations ambazo tulikuwa tunazitoa, tuliwa include pamoja na watoto wa kiume. Ili mtoto wa kiume akielewa jinsi ni kitu gani mtoto wa kike anapitia, then anaweza kusympathize na yeye kwa ubora zaidi. Na anaweza akaendelea kuinormalize kwamba hii ni part of growth. Kama vile mtoto wa kiume anavunjika sauti wakati anakuwa, mtoto wa kike ili awe mwanamke lazima avunje ungo, awe anaingia period kila mwezi ndio anakuwa mwanamke aliyekamilika. Sio ugonjwa, sio mapungufu. It's not a disability.
Yep.
It is part of the woman growing up and her becoming what she is. Yeah.
And so, at what point did you decide, you know what, I'm going to give this my full-time energy? Just talk me through that process.
All right. So I was employed during all that period of time until right about 2022. 2022 October, because I had also started other businesses that I was managing on the side, like a side hustle. In 2022 October, I sat down and I was no longer happy where I was employed. So I decided, you know what, maybe it's time for me to venture out and put all my energy into Jollie and all these other businesses. So 2022 August, I wrote in my resignation, served my 3 months, it was October, served my 3 months until December, then resigned. Then January, effectively 2023, I became a full-time business owner.
Nini ambacho kimebadilika?
So when I was resigning to come into full entrepreneurship, my assumption in my head was that this was going to be a smoother journey. Little did I know I was moving from 8 to 5 or 7 to 4 to 24 hours. At first, it was really scary and hectic because I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a sister, daughter, and all these things. A society member, very active one. So it is challenging to do work-life balance. But over time, it is what I realized I enjoy. So within the crazy juggle, there's a lot of excitement that makes me who I am. And I'm really enjoying the journey. And natamani kuona Mwanaidi wa miaka 5 anayokuja atakuwa ni mwanamke wa namna gani kutokana na hivi vitu vyote ambavyo ninafanya. Natamani kuona Jollie inakuwa inajulikana Tanzania nzima na nje ya Tanzania, to the point where ukienda Congo, you should be able to find Jollie in the shelves. If ukienda Malawi, you should be able to find Jollie in the shelves. So what changed is now my vision has broadened. Yeah, I'm no longer closing myself in a box. I'm no longer procrastinating. Nimeacha kuwa muoga. I'm more daring now. Yeah. Najiamini zaidi nadhani. Ukimkompea Mwanaidi aliyoajiriwa na Mwanaidi anayerun biashara zake, huyu sasa hivi ana amani zaidi, lakini pia ana ujasiri zaidi.
Furaha pia, because you
ana furaha zaidi.
You mentioned furaha.
I look forward to, yes.
Every day.
Every day.
And with Jollie pads, is it you freely give them to children, or do you have a commercial aspect to it as well?
Okay, so initially it started like a fully social project.
Completely free.
Completely free.
Okay.
So I would service it using my salary. And then over time, we turned it into a social enterprise with full profit. So we've commercialized it. Basically, what is happening is we're collaborating with some companies, some corporates, some individuals that do charity work. So they buy the pads from us, and then we do the distribution.
Wow. So now you're still a social entrepreneur technically?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
What I enjoy about listening to you is also the very clear, very true aspect of the story, which is, and I want to get a little bit kiukweli, right? And this is no hate to the male entrepreneurs in our audience. I interview quite a few. So before someone brands me a man hater, disclaimer, I don't hate anyone. At least anyone listening to this podcast right now, which subscribe and like, by the way. I have a challenge listening to male entrepreneurs because they have so much help from women behind the scenes that allows them and frees up their space to be able to do all these things and be successful. And it bothers me whenever we talk to male entrepreneurs, they're always like, you just have to believe in yourself. You just have to wake up and breathe all these things, nakadalika. And I'm like, you're not accounting for the fact that there's someone raising your children. Peace and love. There's someone raising your because I'm imagining the comments that we usually get. So I'm throwing in disclaimers. Narusha point, narusha nangata na kupuliza. You're not accounting for the women that are raising your children, washing your clothes. You're not accounting for the women that cook your meals. You're not accounting for the women that shop for you. You're not accounting for all the invisible labor that props up this man to be who they are, right? And so it's always good for me to speak to someone of your caliber and of course of your gender who can speak to someone who has a full 24 hours. Siko baya lakini kwa baya. You know, someone who has a full 24 hours with all these expected duties on them, and for them to be able to give a very realistic piece of advice, particularly to female workers, female employees, female employers, and female entrepreneurs. Kwamba, this is the reality of the situation. And so my other question then becomes, Mwanaidi, una familia. You require a certain level of security. Baada wewe kuamua kuirusha your security, because some people would also say kwamba it's because she's a woman, she had the security of a man to say, I'm choosing my happiness. We don't have that choice. A lot of men will tell them, we don't have that choice. Mwanaume ni kupambana and the likes. But there are a few dilemmas that go into it for you as well. And so what does that look like for you choosing to go into this, but at the same time understanding all these other things that weigh on you in the event of failure?
Yeah. It's a very good question. Na vile vile ni kitu ambacho huwa sioni aibu kuongelea. Naweza nikasema I've been quite privileged because nimelelewa na baba ambaye yuko very proactive kuhakikisha kwamba mtoto wa kike hajihisi yeye anahitaji kuwa tofauti. So support system yangu all around has been positive. So there is nobody ambaye nilimwambia kwa mfano nataka kuacha kazi akanambia wewe unaachaje kazi, utaishi vipi? When I told my father, the first thing he said, kwanza kama umechelewa vile. Unajua watoto wa siku hizi nyewe mnakuaga waoga sana. Wewe nenda tu as long as
girl dads.
Yes, girl dads.
dads.
And then the same thing, my husband is a very supportive human being. The coolest guy you'll ever meet. I'm so glad I married my friend, okay? So even him, when I told him, I'm thinking, that makes sense because you've been looking really unhappy lately. So how do we do? Okay, you're quitting, great. What are we doing? So my support system made it easier. But I am sitting in spaces where I'm participating in incubators, programs, conferences, ambayo naona wanawake wenzangu ambao wana ambitions kama za kwangu lakini wanakwama kwa sababu support system zao sio nzuri. Yeah. And as much as my father or my husband currently is very, very supportive, there is spaces that I would probably be able to close a contract, but I am limited to joining those spaces. Okay? And this is because I'm a woman. Mwanaume anaweza katoka akasema kwamba naenda kukutana na mfanyabiashara Jackies. Ili to close the deal. But me, naturally, I would not say that I'm good. Even if this particular client, that is their comfort space. Siwezi kusema kwamba natoka hapa naenda kukutana na mfanyabiashara Jackies kwa sababu I have to close the deal.
Very specific example that I relate. I relate.
So and that is one thing that I'm always challenging. Even the male figures in my family, I'm always challenging them. That guys, we need to be able to understand that the women have minds of their own. They understand their wives. They understand their mothers. They know their boundaries. They know how to be respectful. So they should be allowed to venture out.
This other gender. I said a disclaimer, Jamani. These are all jokes, by the way. We're friends. We're friends.
Yeah. Here. So for me, I think it was a lot easier because I had a very good support system. But I would urge other people to not limit their spouses, especially the women that have got big ambitions and have got great capabilities. Give them the opportunity to grow, because I'm participating in an incubator and maybe let's say the program is running for 10 months. Out of the 10 months, maybe there's physical meetings, like five physical meetings, and somewhere along the way the woman drops out because the husband doesn't believe that you're meeting at Hayat for a conference. They don't trust her to be able to do that, and they don't see the value of that the program. So my biggest ask is to the male figures, because we're built differently, whether we agree or disagree, and the society sets us apart in different ways. If whoever you are the support system of somebody that is extraordinary, allow them to shine. Allow them to reach their full potential, whatever that looks like. And in the end, you will also be a beneficiary. Because if you fully utilize their potential, then whatever the benefit comes back, it's having triple effect. Because if she's a mother, that means your whole household is benefiting from that. And if you limit this person and they can't showcase their capabilities, that means whatever in the end results of this woman is also impacting your household. So for me, you have to outweigh the positions.
It's lovely that you mentioned that as much as we agree or disagree on this, we are all built differently. But do you think men are threatened by that? Hence why they're limiting the spaces we can go into comfortably?
I wouldn't speak for all men, but there are some that are how to call it, are projecting their own insecurities, and we have no way to manage that. It would have to be on individual basis. But some limit because they are threatened by it. They don't know how that would span. But I want to give you a different view of it as well.
Please go ahead.
There are some women, because we are built differently, when the woman then in turn does something that may be considered a man's role, and then you take it on upon yourself as a woman, then you do not know how to behave. Yeah? Because my thinking and the way I was raised, it is the responsibility of the man to take care of things. The moment that me as a woman start taking care of things, bills, school fees, rent, and everything, then my mentor changes somewhere. Mm-hmm. Then I feel like, I'm also, you get. So in the end, it becomes like a, how to call it?
Kuna msuguano
flani. Because again, I repeat, we're built differently. Our thinking mechanism is very different. For a man, respect is everything. It doesn't matter whether you're doing what. As long as he feels his ego is being bruised, you're going to get into a lot of trouble.
Kuna debate kubwa ambayo imekuwa inatokea mitandaoni across the world. Now, I want to get your insight as mtu, as an activist and as an entrepreneur in the space. Nini kinachozuia serikali kufanya bidhaa za hedhi kuwa bure?
So I am part of the Tanzania Menstrual Health and Hygiene Coalition, where we are a lot of us. So all the people that manufacture sanitary pads, be it disposable, reusable, all the people that deal with wash projects, anything, all that. We have a coalition. And we are currently in conversations with the government where we're trying to see how we can change policies, as other countries have been able to successfully do so. It is something that will take a little bit of time because there is translation of context. And the government is also trying to understand the outlook from an entrepreneur side. So the assumption is when they remove tax, the prices should lower. Mm-hmm. But tax is not the only thing that is determining the price of a product.
Absolutely.
A lot of these things have to be manufactured from outside the country. There is the cost of importation. There's the cost of clearing and forwarding. There's just too many aspects that decide what then the end price of the product is. So the initial struggle before is around the government wanting, as soon as they remove the taxes, then the prices should automatically go down, and they should be like a structure base for this is what the price should look like. Mm-hmm. So let's say a disposable should be 2,000 because tax has been removed. Mm-hmm. So these are some of the things that as a coalition we are trying to correct the thinking and trying to showcase them what is reality on the ground, and hopefully at some point we'll be able to reach a consensus. But it's a struggle for many countries. Mm-hmm. And I believe with a little bit more intentional dialogue, mm-hmm, tutafikia mahala ambao itaeleweka vile vitu vyote vikiainishwa, mm-hmm, kwa uwazi kuonyesha kwamba tatizo liko wapi, mm-hmm, changamoto ziko wapi, tukajaribu kubridge the gaps ambazo zipo on either side. Mm-hmm. Naamini tutafikia, ila kwa sasa hivi ni safari ndefu bado kidogo.
How much ndefu?
Quite a bit.
Oh. I mean, I want to say give or take a year, 12 months-ish away from the next election. It would be awesome if the first female president we've ever had would do something for females. You know?
Yeah. It would be really awesome, but again, like with any change, it is a sore. It's a sore discussion. And there is a lot of dialogue that is already ongoing. And this is something a little bit out of topic, but in topic. And as a people, as Tanzanians, we do not have a lot of, drive to find the facts and figures and things to give us ground to have discussions. Okay. For example, if you look at the recent reject bill in Kenya, if you look at the conversations that the Kenyans were having, I dream of a day where Tanzanians as a people will be able to have such kind of discussions where we are citing clauses, where we are saying this is what the Katiba says, hapa, and this is where I want it to be changed. You get what I'm saying? So the first step is for us to get the right information. So, and this is what we are trying to do in the coalition. We are trying to utilize the people that are in the group to sort of pick the necessary information, educate those that are not necessarily savvy of the information, so that tukienda to have these discussions, hatuongei kwa hisia, rather tunaongea kwa facts and figures that are reality. And a lot of times we speak a lot from emotions. We don't go and you say, this is how it's making me feel. But how it's making you feel is very subjective. So my biggest ask again on that front is us as a people, we need to improve our outlook in life. We need to seek information. We need to be wanafunzi wasio toshelezeka. And this is got nothing to do with the government impacting this for us. This is something that we have to start as a people. It begins with you and me. We start from our level where we are at. We create a culture of reading. We create a culture of finding out. We create a culture of having very good debates with each other that are very intentional and very content-filled, and not just looking at how am I making Lisa feel, things that have context. If we can do that from family level, society level, then I believe in the end, even the people that will be coming into these positions will be people that can argue things out and can, present things. And even if politics will be politics, we would be able to have good ground for change to really happen.
The natural assumption, I think, for a lot of us is that the more representation we have in a space, the more likely it is that change will happen for us. I know, having spoken to techpreneurs, social entrepreneurs, other kinds of business owners and starters, a lot of people generally feel like kwamba tukiweka mwakilishi wa aina fulani, automatic lazima vitu vije kwa upande wetu. Do you think that, like I said, do you think that they're threatened by us? Alternatively, unadhani kwamba wanawake wengi zaidi wakiingia katika hii space kutoka kuna tofauti? Like kwa mfano kwenye coalition, jumlisha wizara ya afya, jumlisha all the key players including the manufacturers, majority of them, the clearer and forwarders na kadhalika. Iyo ecosystem yote ikiwa na representation nzuri ya wanawake, you don't think that would maybe speed up the process a little bit?
I don't think so.
How so? No.
Kwa sababu, again, I repeat, it begins with you as an individual. Okay, the assumption that there will be somebody else. Nahitaji tukiweka mtu, who is mtu? Tukiweka watu sahihi, who is watu sahihi? So it has to begin with us at our level. Pale ambapo wewe upo. Mimi kama Mwanaidi, kuna space ambayo ninaimanage sasa hivi. Nianze kuimplement what I want to see in my space. And then eventually it will have a triple effect. Kwa sababu hata tukiweka wanawake kwenye hivi vitengo vyote, lakini mentality ya wale wengine wote ambao wako kwenye hizi cycles is thinking kwamba menstrual hygiene discussions are a taboo. It's not going to help anybody. Yeah. So at the end of the day, it has to start with us as individuals and then to tafute namna i-disseminate to the rest of the people. So within our communities, wewe Lisa una space ambayo unai-manage.
It's called Founder Safari.
So within ile space ambayo unai-manage, you make sure that you're intentionally sharing this information. In the end, it becomes engraved. Within our households, we make sure that we're creating these characters and these things that we would like to see outside there. We put it in our societies. In the end, wale watoto wanavyokuwa wanakuwa na hizi cultures. Wakitoka nje kwa mfano, kama mimi in most of my cycles, I'm on both my parents' side, they're very predominant, staunch Muslims for lack of a better definition.
Conservative. I think a lot of people would call them,
well, yeah, very, very conservative. But I would send my cousin for a packet of pads just to stir up something, My cousin brother say, hebu naomba nienda kukanunulia pedi. And then
violence.
Mjomba hapa anaweza kukuangalia.
Violence.
But you see, that is making it become a norm now. So I'm managing it in my space. Imagine that boy akifika kule dukani, hawezi kuwa yuko shy. Sasa sister kanituma mbona nomo tu. Umeelewa? Yule mjomba wangu akishaiona ile siku ile, akaiona mara nyingine ya pili, mara nyingine ya tatu, akija kuiona inatokea sehemu nyingine, he will not be one of the people that is saying, hiki kitu kibaya sana. Na yeye anaweza akimsikia mtu mwingine anasema, yaani unamtumaje mtoto wa kiume pedi wewe? Mbona unakuwa so mstaarabu? So it has to start from our own spaces, alafu tunaangalia jinsi gani ina disseminate to the rest. And then this is not to say kwamba we're going to ignore placing these people in the right spaces to help steer the thing quicker. But change management requires a lot of mindset change. So if we can utilize all avenues possible, beginning with our own spaces, then inasaidia ile mindset change iwe kidogo chap.
You talk about being a person in your space and owning it and managing it. Beautiful, fantastic. I want also, ningependa, at your own discretion, if this is something you'd like to talk about, mimi ni mama, mimi ni mwanaume katika familia. How would I know that my child has endo? Because kuna watu ambao hivi vitu tunavifahamu, wengine kwa kuvisikia, wengine tunajua tu. I know at some point Milen, my guess, was quite the champion for it. I know a couple of people in my life who suffered from it recently. There's a Kenyan woman who passed away from endo. She was also a really good endo warrior. Thoughts and prayers to her family. May she rest in peace. So hili tatizo lipo. Whether tunalifahamu au tulifahamu, how would I be able to recognize? Sababu, oh gosh, a little bit of, backstory. Kuna binti ambayo mimi nilikuwa nasoma naye high school. I don't know if she had endo, but based on what people say, ni mtu ambao alikuwa once a month akianza kuumwa, it would take at least 7 of us to hold her down. She comes from a family of 5 sisters. Both her parents are alive. Lakini inavyosemekana na yalivyokuwa anasema ni kwamba familia yao ndo tulivyo. Like once a month we all have to kweli it was hectic, and I mean seriously holding her down. If you've never had anyone in your life either epileptic ama yani kama hujawahi kuona mtu mwenye kifafa ama mtu ambaye ana matatizo kadhaa, this might be very foreign to you. Maana watu wengine tunaona tu kwenye TV watu ambao wana mashetani and we're like hey, ni maigizo. Lakini kama hujawahi kuona mtu ambao kweli yani I'm willing to sacrifice anything and everything to get rid of you, it's very foreign. Tumefundisha kwamba sio tu ni kitu cha kuficha na kitu cha sirini. Tumeambiwa pia hayo maumivu ndo wanawake. Vumilia. Ndio ukubwa huo. Ndio kukua huko. Usimwambie mtu.
Sini period too.
You're not the first and you won't be the last. Kumbe it's generational. Tunabeba tu tunatembea nayo. How would I be able to recognize kwamba sasa hivi there's something that's off?
Okay, so we are, as Jollie, we're trying to do a lot of awareness creation. Yeah, kwa sababu kuna kutukiwa tunaenda kwenye mashule, unakuta msichana anakuambia kwamba mimi naingia period siku zote za mwezi. Dada, hii ni kawaida. Then because normally we go with doctors, then you look at the girl's sperm and then you realize this kid is anemic because it's not normal. And then so you take the kids to the side and you ask, sasa kwa nini hukusema? Sasa nilimwambia mama akanipeleka kwa shehe aniombe kwamba nimerogwa. So you see,
I want to crawl under this table, but I'm in the middle of the job. Oh my God.
Yeah, so kazi ni kubwa. How will one be able to know? Again, I repeat, seek information. Yeah, ask questions more than once. There's a friend of mine who is a doctor who because I also faced a lot of, throughout my schools, throughout my career, I faced a lot of challenges. And one of the things that made me really unhappy is that, because I was 2 weeks sick, 2 weeks okay. So the 2 weeks that I'm sick, even my bosses don't understand. Mwana sini period too. Kwani wewe tatizo lako ni nini? Mbona kama vile unakuwa una showcase kama vile you want to be given special treatment, but people don't know what exactly the person is going through, yeah? So madaktari sasa hivi pia wameimprove sana, hata hapa Tanzania. Ukienda sehemu nyingi wanakuambia kabisa wewe utakuwa una endometriosis. Ile notion ya kwamba huyu ni chango, sijui kama umewahi kusikia hiyo story. Mimi mwenyewe wakati nakuwa niliambiwa sana. And then I'm
so sorry.
I got married, I had 2 beautiful twins, and my problems didn't stop. So then at that point in time is when some of the family members now started wondering, "What's ushaza? Sasa mbona bado kama unaumwa?" You get what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah, so it is, as parents, if you see you, so that doctor friend of mine kept on telling me, whenever I would complain, I was like, you know what, my body is feeling pain, but I know it's just the period. Let me just take a Panadol, let me take a diclofenac so that I can be able to work. Then she said, Mwana, the human body is not meant to feel pain.
It's an indication that something is off.
Yes, if you feel pain, there is a problem. Seek to find what that problem is. Unfortunately, even if you find what that problem is, endometriosis haijapatikana, tiba yake. So kinachotokea ni kwamba it's just pain management. Yeah, they just give you things to make it a little bit easier, and eventually for some people it keeps on getting worse and worse. Wengine inabidi watoe vizazi, wengine inahama, inahamia kwenye sehemu nyingine. Like me, it moved to my shoulder. So whenever I'm in my period, I get pains. Whatever cramps I'm feeling, I also get on my shoulder. The Kenyan lady, she'd gotten it in her lungs, everywhere. It moves. Ooh. So it means whenever she's on her period, it's also all these other places are also bleeding. The difference is the period has an outlet. These other places don't have an outlet, so they tie together organs.
Yeah.
So it is just to ask, if you have a relative, a daughter, a sister, an aunt, or somebody that is going through these things, just give them the support. And don't assume that itakuwa
ni mambo ya wanawake
kwamba ni kawaida au ndio tulivyo, kwamba maumivu yanarithishwa. Is this possible really?
I told you. tunabeba tu. And it's like the level of gaslighting for women, especially in the medical space, which I understand. Kwa watu ambao hawajui, this is probably the first time mnasikia kwamba endometriosis huwa inahamia katika mifumo mingine ya mwanadamu, mwili wa mwanadamu. It's insane the level of things we went through. Kuna watu ambao, kuna tiba, quote unquote tiba, nyingine tiba ambayo inasemekana, ukigundua early, like sababu it comes in stages. Ikigundulika early, it can be managed a lot more. Sema ile level of gaslighting ya ndo tulivyo inaacha
prolong muda.
Most women, by the time wanakuja kuigundua, it's stage 3 or 4, and it's intense. Kwa hiyo, save your daughters, save your wives, save hopefully your moms, and at least we could do more than that. There's a lot of information, I'm sure hata kwa watu wengine wanaisikia kwako kwa mara kwanza, and that's what I'm really hoping for, is what are the signs to look out for? Like you've mentioned, pain, prolonged periods,
heavy periods, funky mood swings that are beyond normal.
And then the other associated pains, unatakiwa uumwe sehemu fulani lakini
unasikia maumivu sehemu fulani pia.
What is the correlation with that?
And also to be careful, because support ni kitu cha muhimu sana, kwa sababu kwa mfano kama mimi, ili niweze kuingia darasani, ili niweze kuwa functional, nilitumia madawa ya maumivu makali sana. Because you can imagine being an employee and you're 2 weeks in, 2 weeks out. It's not a good look, huh? It doesn't matter.
Ulifikia stage ya kuchoma sindano?
My husband had to teach himself how to give injections. That's how hectic it was. So we were rushing in the middle of the night to the hospital, and then at one point he reached hospital and anamwambia daktari, hebu nionyeshe kwanza, hizi sindano zinachomwaje? Manake hizi ruti Kigamboni Aga Khan is not making sense. So he had to learn how to give the injection. So he understands far corner, divide into 4. Then this
you carry the 2.
Then
you find the square root.
This is where you inject. He had to learn that. But support system is really important, because in order for me to survive, in order for me to be normal, I had to take a lot of painkillers. But over time, these painkillers also caused another bad problem for me. So now I have another level of gastritis, which is caused because of the bad pain meds. But you see, at that point in time, that is my solution.
And I don't fault you
I
for it.
take a double dose of diclofenac, kumbe it's eating on my stomach. Yeah. And then 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, your things are attaching to each other because of endometriosis, but also you're getting very, very end of flare. Your stomach is acting crazy. You're getting like an ulcer kind of thing, but it's because of the drugs then. But if this thing, if we can continue to create awareness, then it means even people in workspaces can be more understanding and try to create ways, with, like, for example, with COVID, it gave us an option for working from home. So maybe at that point in time when someone is going through something, they could work from home.
Sure.
Because you have now a better understanding of what this person is going through.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. That's incredible. That's I'm lost for words as a young woman myself, and just imagining how many futures you're building up and how much hope, which, by the way, how many young women are we talking about, younger girls that we're talking about, that you've been able to support so far with your initiative?
Okay, so I would say right about around 100,000 girls. Yeah. In terms of schools, 6 schools. Yeah, so divided between Kigoma, Bagamoyo, Dar es Salaam, Tanga, and Arusha. Yeah. We are looking to do a lot more. Yeah. And at the moment, due to the fact that the business started as a complete startup that was being solely financed by the founder, that is myself, we have currently started doing a lot of grants application. Yeah, so that we can see how we can get money now to properly scale, increase our production, improve our capacity, so that we can be able to produce and provide more girls the wonderful product. However, we are also doing product diversification. So we are looking towards pivoting towards more organic disposable pads, and these we will be manufacturing in China. We've already found a supplier for that. And this is mainly because when you're doing cloth pads, for some reason, I do not know why, it is very difficult to commercialize. Yeah. We are spending a lot of time still creating awareness and showing people that this is the best alternative that is available. But as people, they're still very much inclined on the disposable. And because I'm very keen on the green aspect of things, that is why I opted to look into disposable, but look within the organic space. Yeah, so that's how we are pivoting for that. And the reason for doing that is then that business will be able to finance the sustainability side of the business, which is the cloth pads.
So as of now, you have not, which this would be your, well, full-time, this would be year 2 for you.
Yeah.
But running it formally, this would be year 5.
Yes, branding it formally, this would be year 5.
So year 5 in, you still haven't made any money?
We still haven't made any substantial money that you can say, you know what, the business is being able to run itself. We're still injecting in money from angel investors, from me, the founder, myself, and that is what has been keeping the wheel running as much. Maybe now it's going to be a little bit better because I'm now physically there, because when you're managing from a distance, it's a little kuna changamoto zake. So we're looking to venture to grow up and scale the business so that we can be able to service the whole country, and again, as I had mentioned before, be able to go cross border. Yeah, because at least for Congo, Rwanda, and Burundi, they already understand cloth, so that will be an easy market to tap into. Yeah. The other support that we need, which I am getting from the spaces within which I collaborate with, is like the TMDA, TABS certifications. This can be very challenging to get. There's a lot of bureaucracies and whatnot. But I'm using the coalition. I'm using Tanzania Women Chamber of Commerce, where I am a member of, to try and get support to get this. So working capital is the biggest challenge, and all these other compliance documents, which we are challenged a little bit because of bureaucracies, but we continue to push.
What keeps you going then? Because for a lot of people, and we've had this conversation with a couple of other founders, wanasemaga yani kuamka na kufanya product nzuri ni one thing, lakini pia pesa mwanangu hela. So what keeps you going? What's been a highlight for you?
The need is there. If I'm being honest, what has kept me going, and just the other day we were looking at our financials, and for the first time, my employees, I brought them into the meeting room, and I showed them, so guys, this is what the company looks like. And one of them literally teared because she's like, so madam, tumekuwa tunaweka hasara tu. Sasa tunafanyaje? And for some reason that woke them up because now they're thinking tupambane. So I'm like, the reason why salaries don't increase, the reason why people don't have medical aid is because this is what that looks like. So what keeps me going, even when I look at that financial statement and I'm like, this is like a hole that just keeps sipping the money through, is because I know the need is there, and the capability to provide, to bridge that, to provide that need is also there. So let me challenge myself to make sure I service that need, I satisfy that need. That is exactly what keeps me going.
And what kind of support are you currently looking for? I know you already have partners. If you want to shout them out, it's all right. What other, besides the angel investors and the other NGOs that are injecting into you, what other kind of support are you looking to have?
The other kind of support, I don't know if it's called support. For sure, for the pivoting of the business, it will not be grants or whatever investor support for now. I think it's going to be bank loans. And so it's just shopping around for what packages are available and what can be useful for us. So looking at CRDB, Stanbic, the ones that already have sort of entrepreneur programs embedded in them, trying to see which ones will be supportive for us.
Would you like to do, if you could go back, is there something you would do that's slightly different? Maybe start sooner, maybe, is there something you do differently if you look back at your journey?
I think I would have retired early. I think I would have taken the leap of faith earlier. Yeah. I think I self-sabotaged a lot. What if this doesn't work? Maybe I haven't done enough research. Maybe I need to find out more. What else can we do? I should have just gotten it done. Because there's a good 4+ years. One would say don't call it wasted years, but it still feels like that. So I would have made decisions quicker. Yeah.
Well, kama mnatafuta brand ambassadors, I myself, my producer had to hold my hand through this whole thing and be like, don't say the word VAGINA too many times. The product itself is very VAGINA oriented. And I'd like to say that word, but before we get censored, now this is a broadcast, I have to keep it PG. But if you're ever looking for an ambassador, by the way, I myself am a proponent of reusable pads. I use reusable pads. TMI for all the people that are listening, but it's already too late. So I, as a young woman myself who has more or less similar privileges, I endorse. But it's just like we are modernizing it. Lakini ukweli ni kwamba tupo kwenye nchi ambayo as far as kutumia vitambaa ni kawaida mno.
Kanga, vitenge, mashati, mashuka.
Exactly. So the idea of obviously we can take it forward to modernizing it into tampons. I know hivi karibuni kumekuwa kuna push fulani hivi ya menstrual cups kiasi chake. So tunaelekea. Mwanaidi, I want to thank you so much for your courage and for your honesty and for your time and for this space, for coming in, kwa kubali wito wetu na kwa kufika. Gosh, I just want to say so much, but I'm just like, I want these guys to go home. Vingine vyote tutafanya sirini. So I want to be able to send everybody off. But before I do, I'd like to ask you to just look into the camera and give us your few parting words, maybe a few words of wisdom. There's a young woman, there's a young girl, there's a social entrepreneur. Watu wengi ambao wanakusikiliza, wengine ambao hawajui, but they're looking for a sign, and this could be it. So if you could just give that to them and to us, so we remember kwamba na wewe ulifika hapa na sisi. Unatuachia nini?
Awesome. Asanteni sana kwa kunikaribisha kwenye podcast hii. Kwa kweli maongezi yalikuwa mazuri sana. Tumeenjoy, na then tulikuwa hatuoni hata muda unavyoenda. Tunatamani kama tuendelee kuongea. Kikubwa kwangu mimi natamani kuwaasa wanawake wenzangu, hasa mabinti wadogo wa Kitanzania. Tujitahidi sana kutafuta information. Tujitahidi sana kukimbilia ndoto zetu. kwa namna yoyote ile. Kuna mtu alikuwa anasema kwamba, Mwana, how do you work life balance? Hakuna kitu kinaitwa kama work life balance. At any point in time, kuna mipira ambayo unapambana nayo hivi. Ikianguka mmoja, usiache sasa yote ikaanguka, unachukua ule mwingine unaendelea tena kujago. So tutafute habari ambazo zinatujenga, ambazo zinajenga, ambazo ni endelevu. Vile vile tukimbize ndoto zetu, tusivunjike moyo kwa namna yoyote ile. Na pale unapotafuta information na ukaizingatia, ina maana hata pale unapopata opportunity ya kuielezea, utaielezea kwa ufanisi, na hata yule mtu aliyekuwa na wasiwasi au ana shaka na wewe haezi kuendelea kukutilia shaka. So I advise all women, all girls, everybody to always pursue your dreams and always be intentional about it and always remove all reasonable doubt. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Mwana, and I think that's it for me. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for your attention. Like, subscribe, comment, and karibuni tena for another episode. Peace in the streets.